Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Enlightened Society podcast. I am your host, Nancy Makoyo. Thank you for tuning in with us. And today we have our special guest who has been telling us a story of pain, healing, transformation, and of purpose. And today we want to know more about her ministry, that is as a worship leader and as a music director. Our one and only Pastor Mercy Gishuru is with us. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you once again for having me. Uh, uh, I'm blessed.
We are also blessed.
Mm.
So, Pastor Mercy, when did you realize you could do music? Was it just something inborn, or when did you realize you could do music, sing, and maybe that led into you being a worship leader?
Um, I think I was born a musician, if I can say it like that, because growing up, I used to sing a lot. People knew it in school. I sang a lot. Sisi kwetu tulikuwa tunasikiza reggae, the Lucky Dube, Bob Marley, and all those. And I used to know those songs word after word, word after word. Hata sahi wiregera Lucky Dube ikicheza hapa sahi.
So you have a music here.
Exactly, I have a musical ear. Sahi reggae ikicheza, I rarely even enter cars that are playing reggae. Unaweza jikuta nikiimba. And then the thing about reggae, the message
It's very different.
is very funny because you can be singing Born to Suffer, I am a prisoner, and such kind of things. The message is very
It's
funny.
very true.
Yeah.
You could be dying the next day in that song.
Yeah, you can imagine uko kwa gari and you're singing Born to Suffer. I am a prisoner.
It's true.
And zingine zinasema eti look everywhere, there's nothing to smile about. You see, there are so many things. So I was born a musician, I can say that, because hata kwa nyumba most of the times zenye nilikuwa naambia we nyamaza, because I used to sing sana. In school they knew me. I used to, wimbo ikitokea leo, kesho wanajua huyu anaijua. Even teachers used to come to me, unajua hii wimbo, hebu ituimbie. I was like their entertainment in school, primary. Hii gift ikaendelea, but at some point sikujua it is something, a gift in me. At some point niliachilia. And then again, now when I was living with this lady, the one I was telling you about, the principal, in her house, the gift came back. I used to compose songs. I have composed, by the way, some songs that I have till today. Sijaenda nazo studio, na si kukosa pesa. I think 2 factors. Number 1 is sijakosa pesa, but nimekosa pesa. In this aspect, I can decide to go to a studio yenye itanichaji kama 5k, and I'll record my music. But I want this studio yenye itanichaji 15k and give me quality, ama 20k and give me quality. Yeah. Number 2 is I don't just want to sing. I want to sing at a point yenye naona this is the time, sitaki kuimba a dry song. I want a song that has the impact of God in it. So those are some of the reasons sijaenda studio. But I have songs. And the funny thing about me, you see the way people say they write songs and forget. Mimi nikiandika wimbo, I don't forget the song.
Sticks.
Word after word. I have 5 songs in my head zenye nimecompose. Word after word, progression, melody, everything in my head. Hata venye instruments zinafaa ziende na kwanga nimeshai picture in my head. I think it's a gift God amenipea.
Very blessed.
And now I can listen to a song and capture it immediately. Like I listen once, in a stick kwa akili. It does not go away. And that's why nakwambia at some point but I also have secular music that I have composed. I composed those ones when I was in high school,
When you were still in the world.
Yeah. I have secular music zenye nimecompose. Yeah, so I think it is something that is in me, but I'm waiting for the right time and the right grace. So I think I was born musical.
Okay, that
Yeah.
is awesome.
Mm.
So you having a gift, is one thing. I think we have gotten to a point where we realize everyone has something in them,
Yeah.
but knowing how to use it and also for the glory of God is a
Mm.
whole different thing. The
Yeah.
others who have gifts and they're using it for different purposes. You get that? So how when were you given the platform, or when did
To
you feel
sing.
convicted to sing, and not just
Yeah.
sing but to sing to glorify God as a worship?
My journey for me to begin singing, I was in a church in Kisii when nikiwa college, and this church was giving out inaitwaje, jobs, manual jobs, just kufagia, kuosha church, and they will pay 500 shillings. So one rule to get the job was you must be born again.
Again.
So tulienda, tukaokoka, tukaenda classes, tukabatizwa because we wanted the job. Ukiwa campus, you need that
An
money.
extra income is good.
Yeah, you need it. You need it so much. So tulibatizwa, we started working. So nikiwa hapo, we used to, na another rule was you must be a member of the church. So we had to attend with some of my friends services. So when we were attending services, tukiwa classes
The discipleship.
yeah, discipleship, they told us lazima you belong to a ministry. So mi nikaangalia, I tried ushering, nikachoka because I don't know, hiyo kusimama ilinishinda because the ushers in that church they were not used to sitting down.
And then you didn't have the grace for
You
it.
stand the whole service. I did not have the grace. I did not have, nikaona this is not my thing. I tried Sunday school in that church. Sunday school teachers were so many. There were like 40 of them, so many, to a point that if you join, you'll just be there. I don't know. Utakuwa tu unakaa tu. There's nothing you are doing. So I felt I don't want that kind of competition. So one day, tulikuanga na a meeting ya youth. So they asked, nani atatuimbisha? Nani atatuimbisha? Of course, there were people in praise and worship that were youths. Wakaenda kuimbisha. So there was no backup. There were 2 of them. The rest had not come for the youth meeting. So wakasema, ka uko hapo na unaona unaweza back come. So I went and backed them up. Wako like, and you have a nice alto. Do you sing? Naimbanga, but would join praise and worship, join us. So I joined praise and worship, but because it's a big church, nilishi back up until one day a musician comes, Sarah Carey, come for a worship experience, and the song she is singing, I know it. Apparently I listened to the song na nimeishika kwa kichwa.
And you didn't even know she was coming.
Exactly. I know it. And so I sing along, and the music director of then akaniambia, I'll give you a song to lead. Lakini hakuwahi nipea. So days went on, I'm still hoping nipewe ni lead, because when that thing is there, inashinda kujificha. Yeah. So another day kukawa na issues kwa praise and worship, vita, nini, kila mtu anataki kukuja church. So one Sunday, those wenye tulikuwa tunajuanga ni wale star in quotes, mastar wa praise team hawakukuja. So the music, the keyboardist ana sisi backup anatuliza, nani hapa anaweza imbisha, sisi tunajidoubt. Nikamwambia I will try, nikaimbisha praise, nikapea certain lady akaimbisha worship. Again the next service, our stars pia bado wakupanda kwa altar, wakakaa, walikuwa na boycott their leader akaniambia, sasa kenye itafanyika wewe utaimba tu tena. So we exchanged. A certain lady akaimba praise, nikaimba worship. Sunday ikaisha hivyo. The next Sunday I think waliongea, waka come to terms. The next Sunday wakarudi, ikaendelea. And then what I hear, what the music director told me is walienda meeting ya leaders and the wale wazee like
wa
kanisa, they were like, kuna msichana alituimbisha worship, mbona umpeangi? So ako msichana yupi? And they described akona ya ni mimi. So walikuwa like, alitubariki sana. You know, one thing, that issue is not that I sang so special. I think issue ilikuwa, you see, this older generation wanaguzwa sana na hizi common songs, you know, unastahili kuabudiwa ni wewe, you see such songs. So those are the songs I sang that day because I did not try
just common songs.
Yeah, common songs
with the grace of God.
Yeah,
backing them.
With the grace of God. Na unajua wamezoea kuimbisha wimbo za Hillsong nini Maverick City, so they walikuanga most of the time wana float na hiyo kizungu, and then me I just sang for them is the simple songs with the grace of God nini. So iliwa nini sana, so walikuwa like, tunataka huyo msichana aimbe tena, mpatiange chance. And that is how I started singing, but I did not sing for long in that church. I think I stayed there for 3 months, then nikahama huko. Kuhama huko I backslid, nikaingia kwa shughuli za dunia nini, no church going. So back straight to 2021 when now I entered church seriously. Again the same thing happened. Pastor alimalizanga kuhubiri. My husband now was the pastor. Akamaliza kuhubiri, akaanza kuimba wimbo. So alipokuwa anaimba wimbo, I am the only person that backed that song in the congregation too. Nilijikuta I assumed kila mtu anaijua, kumbe ni mimi peke yangu naijua. So I picked the song, nikaanza kuimba, congregation yote imenyamaza, so my voice ika stand out all over. So the leader of praise akaniita, akaniambia, wewe ni muimbaji? And I'm like, nilikuwa naimba lakini hakuna cha lakini, join praise team. And because it was a growing church, nika join sasa praise team now officially, and that is where now I started now praising and worshiping. But pia hapo niliekwa backup for a while. There was a kind of profiling, you know. Okay, ukiwa a young lady, you are doing makeup, sijui nails, you are going to church, people
giving the
your
perfect image of a born again.
Exactly.
I think people want to assume that Wakristo ni kama wanafaa kuparara.
Exactly.
Ama hiyo rembo yenye imekuja, it's not meant for them.
So there was that profiling. I am not spiritual enough to be given to lead a service. So kuna wale walikuwa wanapewa, wale wenye
they look the thing, they fit the picture.
Wewe wa nails na hizo makeup zako, kaa huko mpaka utembelewe na roho akuongoze. And you know, it is very bad because at some point I wanted to stop. That, and I realized it is not conviction from the Holy Spirit, it was pressure to please men. Because they had issues with even me wearing heels. Wanasema ukivaa heels kwa madhabahu, you are distracting people. They had issues with the color of your hair.
But your dressing was modest. It's just
my dressing was modest. By the way, me I don't wear short dresses. Hata wewe you have been with me for a while. Yeah. So they made me feel like I don't belong. You are distracting the congregation. They went as far as hair color. If you do, me, I'm someone who likes to explore.
Yeah.
So if you come with that blonde color, this one, amepotea. This one is not spiritual enough. And ikakuwa hivyo for a while, so nilikuwa tu back up. Until a certain worship experience, they gave me one song. Ananiambia, utaimbisha hii. That is because the lady mwenye alikuwa aimbishe, alikuwa anaruka beat. She was not singing it the right way. Nikaambiwa ama utaimbisha hii kamoja. I know, nikachapa wimbo yangu moja. And I not to brag, but in that worship experience, everybody was saying, hiyo wimbo imeniguza, hiyo wimbo imeniguza, that particular song, unaona, that particular song. So that is when now they started giving me to lead songs, and I started leading songs, and it went on. But then hata kama walikuwa wananipea kulead, walikuwa wananiambia utaimba wimbo moja alafu upatie so and so, utaimba wimbo moja upatie so and so.
They were not like giving you the platform.
Exactly, the platform I was not really given,
but God in his own way was giving you visibility.
But now I got my own platform. Now I used to come for midweek services. Hakukuwa na mtu, so nilikuwa naimbanga midweek service peke yangu na hakuna hata keyboardist. We used to do beats, tuna download beats from YouTube, tunaimba na beats, and it used to be powerful. Beat tu inacheza huko na mimi naimba. So kama nimetoka kwa nyumba na jembe, leo naimba wimbo fulani, natafuta beats za hiyo wimbo, naenda naziplay, naimba, and we would pray. So that is how I got a platform.
So what I'm trying to get here is that for you to even nurture it, in as much as God was giving you, it took a bit of sacrifice. You know what? Because for midweek service, it's about sacrifice for you to be present. So it took that for you.
It took it, yeah.
And when you were doing that, was there a time maybe you got a confirmation from God that, you know, it's one thing to know you are doing ministry, but maybe did you get that solid, get to a place where you knew now I'm doing this for God, and run with it and put every other factor aside and just know this is what God is calling me? Was there a kind of solidification or confirmation?
I think confirmation kubwa came, number one, I think from people in this essence. The service would end and someone anakuapproach anakuambia, leo umenibariki. And that is when Wednesday midweek service, leo umenibariki. That is when I realized, so I'm not just singing.
You are being used as an instrument by God.
As an instrument by God. Number two was when I received healing. I credited that healing to the sacrifice of music and prayer, because I had sacrificed so much of serving God. In short, I attributed it to that. So that is when I knew this thing, God ameniita kufanya hii kitu. So fast forward, I came to Possibility Center, and I came when it was starting. So the second Sunday, Pasi anauliza, who wants to join praise and worship? Alisema we are forming now teams. We are forming ministries. Exactly. So akasema, aya tunaanza na music. Nani anataka praise and worship? And I shot my hand up. I did not even want to come and sing. I just wanted to even back up. I just wanted to serve God through that. Shot my hand up. And then we started a praise team. That is where now I grew vizuri, because now with that team tulikuwa watu wanne. Now the fourth person was the keyboardist when we were starting. Yeah, so ni wawili wa back, mmoja aimbe. So most of the time nilikuwa napewa kuimba. So that is when now I knew this is a calling.
So the platform didn't come like the way people will expect. It was a big platform. God created just a way for you. And then during the time when you have been worshiping, has it ever come to a time when you felt maybe dry in ministry, or maybe a warfare against what you're doing for the Lord? Because one thing I have come to hear, most worship leaders, they will tell you they face a lot of battles.
Let me tell you something. You see, worship ministry, I want you to look at people when they suffer even from issues of hawana watoto in marriage. Their worship ministers can give you example. Evelyn Wanjiru, powerful worshiper, she stayed in her marriage for so long bila watoto. We have Kambua, so long bila watoto. You know, the enemy targets sana music ministers. Na asipokushikia kwa family, atakushikia kwa vitu zingine. So there are moments where you feel like giving up. You just want to stop singing. And I realized every time you give up, the enemy takes now control. Because every time I have fainted and went away from ministry, I have felt there is a depression that comes with it. You feel like the enemy is now plundering on your thoughts, on your spiritual life. You used to wake up and pray. You know, when you're in ministry, utaamka kuomba because you're obligated. Number one, you want to and you're obligated. So even if you don't want to, utakumbuka we, me I serve hapo mbele, I must wake up to pray. But when you are not serving, utalala hadi asubuhi, ujiambia cha nitaamka kesho, the same happens and the same happens. So there are those moments when you feel like I don't want, you give up. You say you don't want ministry. There are those moments. And I have had the privilege to go for counseling. And the counselor that is counseling me is also a music minister. And she's born again and she's a music minister. And she told me it is okay. Sometimes the church or people may demonize that feeling of, you know, you are dry, that feeling of you are tired of ministry. Sometimes it is demonized, it is termed as being weak and all that. But sometimes it is okay to feel like that. It is okay because kila mtu uchoka, you know, everything is overwhelming, especially if you are doing it over and over again. It is overwhelming. But one thing she told me, it is your choice. It is your choice. It is okay to feel, but it is your choice. What feeling will you go with, you know? Utafika hiyo point unasikia utaki kuimba. But what side will you fall? Is it this side of sitaimba and then the devil will take over? Or this side, let me keep on pushing, you know?
Encouraging yourself in the Lord.
Encouraging yourself in the Lord. And that is what I think most worship ministers, praise and worship ministers, psychologically, they are going through a lot. They are going through a lot. And one of the things I have come to have in my heart is a way that worship ministers will find a place where they can be counseled. Even if it is not sessions, like session per session, because if you say sessions, it is expensive.
Then it's going to be serious. Some people will think it's something wrong.
Yeah, something wrong. But a way that they can be counseled, to be shown, it is okay to serve God from a place of pain.
I don't know what to do.
Confusion, exactly. I don't know what to do, but I am speaking here, Lord, I am serving you. And sometimes it is okay to retreat and re-strategize.
And maybe recharge from your secret place.
It is okay. The only bad thing is retreating forever. But if you are retreating to recharge and to re-strategize, it is okay. And when you retreat, don't retreat and sleep. Retreat and pray. Because one thing I've realized about music as a ministry, if you do not pray in music, you may have the best voice, but if you do not pray, if you do not seal your voice with the prayer, you will suffer. You will suffer. There are times you will sing and nothing is moving. And then another thing I realized, sometimes unaweza kuwa umeomba, but sometimes God wants to test your patience. Unaweza omba, my friend, the whole week. Ukuje hapa wimbe. You come to church and pray and sing and nothing is moving. Watu wanakuangalia hivi. In your heart unajiuliza, God, si nimekusik the whole week. What is not happening? It does not mean uli backslide. Sometimes God is testing your stamina. I remember a certain preacher said, God confirmed to him na akamwambia, you are a prophet. I have given you the gift of prophecy. He prophesied to people and it happened. And then one day he prophesied and it did not happen. And he was sure, God, you are the one who gave me this what is not happening? Why?
Your prophecy inakuwa very serious.
It is serious. It is serious. Because today, if you tell a young lady you are going to get married by next month and it does not happen, you will automatically become a false prophet. So this prophet of God was saying, this time round he prophesied, it did not happen, and it was chaotic because everybody said you are a false prophet. You said it has not happened. And he went back to God. You are the one who told me to prophesy. What happened? And you know, God, he says that God told him, I was testing your patience, your resilience. How tough can you? Let me tell you. You read the story of Job and then you realize God can test your resilience.
It's a tough one.
It's a tough one. So even in music ministry, there are those times where you are tested, your resilience is tested. And sometimes you are weak. Let me tell you, ministers cry. Ministers cry. Ministers go through a lot psychologically. There are ministers who are singing and people are being blessed and they're wondering, why am I not being blessed? Me, myself. I am giving to people and I'm like a candle. I am giving light and
I am depleting.
Yeah. Their music ministers are going through a lot, and that is one thing I always have that thing in me, that music ministers should go through counseling. It helps. It does not mean mtu ni wazimu. It is a way of
structuring, and it's not a weakness.
Yeah, because even the congregation can give you that you are not enough. You know, the congregation can say things unintentionally. They can come, as someone can say something like, hey, nani ako wapi leo? Akimba nani blessing. So, you know, you are
and you're the one who sang today.
You sang today, and somebody's telling you, hey, so and so akimba. Mimi nafikanga. Waluya wanasema wingu la saba. Unashanga mimi nilikufikisha wingu gani dada? What are you trying to tell me? And that thing can cause a music minister to doubt themselves. You know, to some point in my life, I used to think I don't have a good voice. Until somebody once told, for a long time, I used to think my voice is bad. Until one day somebody told me from the congregation, Masi, you have a powerful voice. God has blessed you with a voice. And I was like, hey. Because now, you see, sisi watu tumepewa hizi sauti nzito, the altos. The sopranos tend to be seen as superior. Because a soprano can hit high notes. An alto cannot hit the notes. So sometimes altos go through a lot. People think they don't know how to sing. Or because they cannot hit a certain note, they do not know how to sing. And that thing can get into you because it had gotten into me at some point. Until someone, your voice is powerful. You have a good heavy voice. And I was like, yo, so I have a powerful voice. So music ministers go through a lot, but the grace of God has always been sufficient.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And so, maybe there's someone out there who is also at the same boat as you. What do you have to say to them? And also at the same time, if you don't mind, can you share with us how you recharge? How do you keep the fire burning? Because at the same time, when you are in the worship ministry, you being a pastor, there are sometimes when you have to teach the word and you have to still be able to balance it out. You have a family to run through. So being full-time ministry and at the same time being able to navigate it, how do you get to do that?
Why? Number one, let me tell you, the first ministry that God places in your hands is family. It is not even the ministry in church. Family. If the things at home are not okay, your ministry cannot go anywhere. It can't go far. It can go somewhere, but it won't go far. You see, family is very important. So if you're in a family, you are married, with children, take care of your family first. Because there are times, let me give an example. I go for practice, yeah, at 5:30 in the evening. Can you imagine? You are a wife, you go for practice at 5:30. By the time it ends, by the time you get home, it is probably 9, 9:30, even 10. So can you imagine your husband comes from work, hakuna food, ulikuwa practice. Yes, you are doing it for God. But do you know God will not support you here? Umekosea, you know? You have to kwanza kujipanga. Number 2, have a heart that is resilient. Another thing I have seen as a minister, pray. Pray. Put your family first. Take care of your family. If you are a husband, take care of your family. If you are a wife, take care of your family. Pray for your ministry. There are places prayer will take you that nothing else can take you. Pray. So, and then when you get to that point, you are asking about recharging. When you get to that point where you are down, I think the only way a Christian can recharge is by studying the word of God deeply and praying. Hatunanga method ingine huku kwa hii kingdom. Hatuna method ingine. You see people out there, wengine wako na a lot of things, choices. I heard a certain lady saying when she's stressed, she will look for someone and have sex with them and stress itaisha. But in this kingdom, ni word
And
na
prayer.
hauna choice. If you're in this kingdom and you are afraid of those two, or you don't want to do those two, you will suffer, especially if you are ministering music, because a music minister is, after the man of God, is second, because that is the ministry of the altar. And in that altar, there are so many wars. Sometimes you will carry wars that are not yours, that were meant for the altar. You know, a certain lady I heard was saying she went to a certain church, and now the ministers she was ministering with were into sexual immorality. They were singing. And she found herself dreaming, having like spiritual husbands when she started ministering there. Then she realized this is a battle that I am carrying because of the altar I am serving in. And she started praying towards that. So even when you are in the altar, you will fight battles that are not yours. Mpaka unajiuliza, hii sasa nilitoa wapi? Where did this one come from? So I think the only way to recharge is just sink in the word and just pray. Because I was at that point, and I tried so many things until I felt God told me, just pray and read the word. And let me tell you, hakuna kitu refreshing kama reading the word and praying. It just refreshes your soul, refreshes your life. So the balance comes from prayer. And always put your family first. Let me tell you as a single lady, when you get married, usiseme eti kanisa eti Mungu number one. You know, there are people who say that mimi bwana yangu alikuwa Yesu kabla unioe. So Yesu ni bwana yangu nambari. Let me tell you, you must put your family first. That does not mean you don't love God, but it is a ministry in itself. Put it first. Put it first. Yeah, and that is why I always encourage ladies, get married to someone who supports your ministry. You can get married to someone who will kill that thing that God has put in you. Aimalize kabisa. Those are some of the red flags to check. If somebody has a problem with you serving God while you are dating, don't think get married at her. And there are so many women, especially women, when they stopped their ministry because of marriage. So many I know. Because women, it is easier to control a woman.
The submission bit
of it, yeah. So I always say your family should come first in everything. Make sure umepanga things. Don't be a rebellious wife. Toka nyumbani, make sure prepare the man. Do what he wants you to do for him. Hata ukikuja hapa usavu na unajua uko at peace with your, let me tell you, hakuna kitu mbaya kama mmekosana na umekuja kuimba. It does not flow, it can't flow. So family first, and then the rest will follow. Find someone who supports your ministry if it is marriage wise, and prayer and reading the word. Yeah.
That is in order. So, Pastor Mercy, what is the next big thing we are expecting from you? Because those songs, we are looking forward. What is the next big thing we're expecting from you? Or maybe when can we get to be blessed with through the music? Okay, personally for me, I have encountered in a way I have to say this on a platform, but there's a day you were singing a song, and I think I found healing from it. Not physical healing, but have you ever gotten to a part when you know your heart is
Heavy.
it's heavy and you are sick? There's a heart disease.
Yeah.
And I just felt like there was a healing that came from it. And I'm sure I'm not the only one that is experiencing it. So that puts you in a position, you being this gifted, we need to experience more of this. And I'm not the only one. There are people out here who want to go and experience that. How can they find you? And when are we expecting the music? Or anything that you want to tell people who can maybe want to get to know you? So,
Wow. I think the next big thing is music wise. I won't promise I'm going to the studio side. I'm waiting for the voice of God. Sometimes people say hiyo ni tu kusema, but I am seriously waiting for the voice of God. I'm waiting for that. Actually, I composed a song 2 days ago. I was just praying and it came. It came out of the situation I was going through 2 days ago, actually. And it is here. That's why I'm telling you all my lyrics are here. But music-wise, right now, recording a song, I am waiting for God. I am waiting for my season. It is very important to know the seasons, to understand seasons. Don't just dive in a season that is not yours. Singing, that is like my life. That one is not something I can let go easily. So that one, that expect me to sing more and more. Another thing is I am trusting God for my evangelism ministry. That is what is in me. If you listen to my preachings, most of them are evangelical. An evangelist abitingi around the bush. Anakwambianga tu venye iko, wewe ndo ukasikie vibaya na huko. And it is not intentional. You just find yourself saying it the way it is.
We need that in this society we are in.
So that thing is in me. That thing is in me. And one day I took 1 week and I went door to door alone.
Wow.
Around to my area. Alone. I went door to door. Peke yangu tu, I'll knock at the door. Nahubiria mtu, naombea yule anataka maombi, and I went. And I felt so satisfied. And then I realized this is my thing. So evangelism is something I am planning on so much. And I'm trusting God to do many things. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pastor Mercy, for sharing your life with us. I'm sure there's someone out there who will be touched through this story because you have given us all the profiles that we can explore. Maybe it's a little bit the nitty details that we have not picked, but we have seen a girl grow from slavery, from facing hardships, being orphaned, dealing with it, being sold off, dealing with it, getting into relationships and they are going wrong, getting into finally being married to the right spouse, which is a blessing in its own, and also ministry wise. So, in short, thank you so much for privileging us to share that profile with us. And we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And we'll be keeping tabs when the songs are out. Be sure I'll be here to to post them. And thank you so much, guys, for tuning in with us at Enlightened Society. You can find us on YouTube at Pastor Kenjo Murungi, DC Possibility Center on Instagram, DCIPCK on TikTok, and Deliverance Church International Possibility Center on Facebook. See you in the next episode.